Hello, 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 and welcome to the Joy of Connection. So happy for you to be here. So glad to see you. I'm really looking forward to our guest tonight because we're really going to talk about stuff from the feminine side and also really from an artistic perspective because we've looked at it from self-love, self-care in terms of what we can do and how we can do it. But what does it feel like? What does an artist look like when they're creating their craft and they're coming from a place of love and excitement and all the other great stuff that our guest Dionne Ible is about to tell you. But before we go there, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about values. You know, I have had a really interesting week this week. And I was really having to dig deep and look at my values and really focus on what was really important to me and what I was willing to give up my time to do and what I was not willing to give up my time to do. And also putting in boundaries. And so, you know, as we're coming out of this lockdown, which we're so excited about here in the UK anyway, as we're coming out of the lockdown, we're starting to think about what can we do next? What's going to happen as we move forward? What's important? And I urge you to really think about some really nice projects, some nice things you can do for you. And during the lockdown, one of the things I did was take a class with Dionne, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So yeah, I just thought I'd vent a little bit in a very polite way about how I'm feeling about values. But let's not digress. Let's focus on our wonderful guest tonight. And I want to bring to the stage Dionne. Hi, Dionne.
Hi, Michelle.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm well. I'm well.
I'm
How
very
about
well,
you?
thank you. How are you?
Great,
Yeah, I'm
great.
great. Thank you. Thank
Ah, so lovely to see you. It's been a while.
you. It has. Yeah, it's good to see you too. You're looking great as usual.
Thank you. Likewise, my dear. Likewise. So I wanted to ask you, can you tell the audience a little bit about you, where you're from and where you live?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I am a UK born artist from a small town called Luton in Bedfordshire. My parents are from St. Kitts, a lovely island in the Caribbean. I am one of three siblings, so I've got an older brother and a younger brother, so I'm right in the middle. I have two children, a girl and a boy. And what else can I say? So I want me to start about my journey and how I got to where
We'll,
I'm
we'll get
now.
to that. We'll get to that. I just wanted to say to you that I didn't realize your family was from St. Kitts because my family's from Jamaica. So, you know, we call you Smileys, right? Yeah, from Smiley.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. But
That's
that's
all
really
right.
good to know.
I'll allow you to call me that for tonight,
Just
Michelle. Yeah, just for tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Appreciate that. So, could you tell the audience a little bit about how we connected? Where did we meet? Do you remember?
Yes. So I do remember because we are both part of the same business group, aren't we?
That's
And
right.
we first met, I think it was probably about 2 years ago. I
I
think it
think
was
so.
about 2 years ago in Coventry
Yes.
at an event called Team Day. And we actually, prior to that, though, we had connected just via email or I think via WhatsApp or something like that. We were connecting via that, but we hadn't actually met physically until this event in Coventry. And then it was just like we'd known each other for years. It was like, yeah, Michelle, it's Dionne. It was
That's
just
great.
wonderful to meet you at long last and just give you a lovely hug. So yeah.
Oh, and you're so sweet, Dionne. And, you know, would you mind telling the audience what TEAM stands for? Because it's a really important organization that we're part of.
Yeah, so together everybody achieves more. So this this organization that we belong to was the founder, Angie Clark, who we both know and love. She started it, I think, probably about 6 years ago. And
Yes.
I actually, if I just go back a little bit, I actually met Ange again in Coventry, and when it was in its infancy, and she was just had a few stall holders. I was one of them. I think this was her second year doing it. And she had probably about, I don't know, probably about 12 stall holders. One of them was Pauline Shaw. Do you remember, you know, Pauline from Benita Candles?
Yes.
And I don't think there was anyone else there yeah, from what I remember, I don't think there's anyone else who I know now was at the event. So from there, I just loved her energy, loved what she was doing. And Team basically is an event where she, the ethos is all about bringing together Black businesses and sort of helping them to grow from whatever stages they're at. And it's just a lovely family feel. And I think you'll agree. It's an environment where you just don't want to leave, and you just want to help each other, and you're just watching other people just prosper and grow. So yeah, we've been a part of that for a few years, and that's how we met.
Yeah, and it's fabulous because it really is like an extended family where we can share and support, whether it's with tips and advice or supporting each other's businesses by giving business or referring them out. So it's great. It's really a great organization. And I have been blessed to meet you. So, you know, that's the other great thing. Some fabulous relationships have been born out of it. And I love that. So I wanted to move on to a bit more about your company and what you do as an artist. Please share with us, because this is what you do full time, correct, am I?
Yeah, that's correct. So my company name is called Kimamu Mosaics. So that's QEMAMU. And I've started the company in 2007, but I actually started training in 2003. And it was
Okay.
a hobby at first. I had no idea that I was going to be, you know, doing this full time. It was just like I needed to do something creative, and so my background actually, I was a legal secretary for many years, working in the city, and I just knew that that just wasn't the one for me. I didn't want to pursue that legal career, but I didn't know quite what it was I wanted to do. So I basically just got a prospectus and I flicked through the pages. No artistic background here, by the way. Not learn. I can't draw or paint or anything like that. It's just basically I want to do something creative, but I don't know what it's going to be. But you know, so I was looking through this prospectus and I saw the Mosaics kind of write up in there. Saw a few of the images. I thought that looks interesting. Let me just have a go.
Yeah.
And I basically went along to the Camden. There's a college called the Working Men's College. Signed up for a 10-week course, and just went along and did my 10 weeks there, and it was just amazing. In fact, the second week or the third week, I just knew that was what I needed to be doing. It just felt right. Everything energetically, it was just like that's what I need to be doing. And created my first piece, and I was the first one to finish out of the whole group as well.
Well done.
Which I found quite surprising because everybody there, they looked like they knew what they were doing in terms of drawing their design and everything like that. And I was looking around thinking, I don't know how to draw. How am I going to do this? But it turned out perfectly. Let me tell you the story about this. So I was wearing not these earrings. I was wearing a pair of earrings that were kind of like the shape of an African lady with curly hair. And I was sat there, and the teacher had said to us the week before, 2 weeks before, come with your designs. But I didn't come with anything because I was thinking, I can't draw. So anyway, I had these earrings and I was sitting there. I see everybody else kind of like drawing and doing their thing. And I was fiddling around thinking, what am I going to do? And then got hold of my earrings like, okay, let's see if I can do this. So I just put the earring down on the table and picked up my pencil and I just started drawing, and I was like, oh, this is working okay. It's carried on, and it just was meant to be. It just came out perfectly. I didn't even have to rub it out really. It just came out perfectly. In fact, the piece is behind me there. I should go and can I go and grab it?
Yeah, please. We'd love to see it. So you still have your very first piece. How impressive is that?
Yeah, yeah.
Love it. I love it. And so it's really good to hear that, right? That she went from a place of, I need to do something different. I'm really interested in figuring out something different. And then here is the piece she created. Wow. Can you lift it up just a little bit so we can see it? That's so beautiful. And that was based on your earring. That is so stunning. I love it. I love it. And so what is it made from? I know
as you can see, it's a bit worn here.
that's okay. But can you tell us what it's made from? I know it's mosaic, but is it glass? What is it? Because it looks bronzy.
Yes.
It looks like there's some green.
It's vitreous glass. This is all vitreous glass. Vitreous glass comes in small little 2 centimeter squares, and you use a tool like this to cut the tiles. So every piece has been cut down to size. Oh, apart from the border. Actually, this is what they look like. Yeah, these whole tiles here.
You can bring it over a little bit. Okay. So that's the original size, and then you cut it even smaller.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. And how long did that take you?
Well, that is a 10-week course, and I think it was 2 hours per session every week. So yeah, about 20 hours. 20 hours? No, that's more than that. 20 hours. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. And just so you know, the audience is giving you great feedback. Eva saying, wow, that's so beautiful. And Leslie as well, so beautiful. It really is. It really is.
Much.
So nice.
I look at it now and I think, oh my gosh, look at all the cars. It just looks like so bad.
Doesn't it? Okay.
Yeah, I could see all that. If I was to do that again, it wouldn't look like that.
I love that. I love that. And so when you're making mosaics, Maureen is saying that that's an amazing piece, by the way, for a first piece. I know. I mean, let me show you my first piece. Let me brag as well. 1 second.
She doesn't want to be left out.
I don't want to be left out. Did you not know I suffer from FOMO? Yes, fear of missing out. So I took one of Dionne's classes, her chakra class that she does. And this is my heart chakra. So it's all green because that's the color of the heart chakra. And it was probably a 2.5 hour class. And I made my wheel. I'm very proud because I can't even draw a stick man. So this is like Picasso for me. Really happy with it. So we'll talk about that more. We'll talk about that some more in a minute. But that's amazing. So do you have any idea how many pieces you've made since that first class? Any sense?
Oh my gosh, what a question.
I know, it just came to me. I just thought that must be really intriguing if you have any clue how many pieces you've made. Just, like, has it been 1,000 pieces, you think? 500, 250? No idea.
I wouldn't say it's 1,000, probably in the hundreds, I'd say. Wow. Maybe between 300 and 500, maybe, something like that.
Wow. I mean, that's a lot of work. That's beautiful. And I love that you do lots of different things. I mean, we'll talk about the wheel in a bit, but I love that, you can do everything from a custom piece, right? Someone can call you and say, I want you to make this, the scenery of a river or whatever. And then you can make it custom, but you can also do more generic things, I would say utilitarian, like a bowl or something like that. I mean, do you have anything else that you can show us that you've done recently, as opposed, to show us how you've improved over the years, how you've really honed your craft? Do you have anything that you can show us?
So, because you said a river, I'm going to get my river design, which I can see right in front of me here. So I'm just going to grab that. Talk amongst yourselves while I grab that.
Oh yeah, I could brag about my artwork again. I'm very excited. So what happens is that if you take Dionne's class, she sends you a box with all the different glass pieces. And so you can see the dark green, you can see the diamond in the center. Let me see if we can get it up a bit closer. You can see the different kinds of glass that are cut. And then she kind of walks you through it. And you use the glue and the tweezers. I mean, seriously, guys, if you're artistic, yours will be stunning. but I'm just proud of my little piece. Very happy with it. So yeah, that's really good. Oh, perfect.
Thank you. Okay, so this is a piece that I've done, but I haven't actually done the backing on it yet, so it's not ready to hang, but it's completed. Okay. And this is mostly stained glass. So if I try and put both of these up together, so you can see the difference between the two. Right, so this is my original.
It all looks great to me. I can't tell the difference other than the colours.
It's a bit hard. Oh, let me go back a little bit like that. So this on this side is mostly stained glass, and this is vitreous glass. So with stained glass, you're working with larger pieces of material. So I'm able to get these bigger pieces here. I can cut shapes in that size. And all down here, all of this is hand cut, all these little circles, apart from these little red ones and these bigger red ones. That's all hand cut circles. And so the stained glass comes in big sheets like this.
Oh, okay.
Vibrant colors. And then I use a different tool to cut the glass. Then I'm using this tool, and it's a bit like, this one's actually called a pistol grip, and what it is, it's got like a tiny little wheel at the end. Where's my camera there? I don't think you can see. You might be able to see a little bit.
Is it the wheel that actually does the cutting?
Yeah. And then this chamber here is where all the oil filters through, and then it comes down this channel and onto this wheel, and then that's is how you cut the glass, and you can then use it like almost like a pencil. So you can do that with it. I can't do it here right now because it's, you know,
you have to have it
flat on the table, but you can do almost any shape with this tool. It's fantastic.
Amazing. It's fantastic. Yeah. I know. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say the reason why I kind of migrated to stained glass, because stained glass comes in so many different colors, and it always reminds me of like tie-dye. I mean, that was like a solid color there, but a lot of the stained glass is like tie-dye with different colors going through it, as you probably would have seen in your wheel, because some of the colors I cut was stained glass, and I wanted to get bigger chunks and pieces into my mosaic so I can be more playful with it. So yeah, that was the reason why I used that.
So wonderful. Is there a favorite theme that you like to work in when you're doing your work, or is it just something that may inspire you? What inspires you to do the pieces that you create that aren't necessarily commissioned, the things that you love making? Oh, love making. Pun intended.
Let's throw that in there. The theme mostly is around Africa. So I've got a lot of African art in my home, and I just love the African culture, or our culture, our African culture. So a lot of my mosaics are inspired by Africa, whether it's usually the female form. I focus a lot on the female form, so doing lots of different things to do with her, and it could be then some animals thrown in here and there, or some symbols, but it's usually, just always goes back to a connection to Africa, which is where I shall be heading to hopefully very soon.
Oh, great. Well, let's talk about that a bit more. Before we move on, I just wanted to let you know, so many compliments again about, the colors are beautiful, and that, everything is really beautiful and stunning work. So everyone is loving what you're doing. So it's amazing. And it's really nice, because I think that, a lot of us think, I know I was in the guilty camp of, I'm not artistic, so why would I take that kind of class? Or I don't know, if I had a mosaic, what would I do with it? And then when you're doing it and you're feeling the glass and you're feeling really creative, it's this energy that just feels so good. It makes you feel so alive and so, channeling your energy in a different way. You're not looking at a TV, you're not reading a book. And I urge you, audience, when she has the next class, we'll definitely promote it, because it was a lovely, lovely afternoon. There were maybe 8 women. I think you only picked 8 people. You keep your class small,
There
if I
was,
remember
yeah,
correctly.
there was actually a full class. There was 10 of us, and
10 of
not in the
us.
actual class. There was a couple of women, because they were in the States, they couldn't join in with us. So they
Right.
did that separately.
On their own. Yeah. But
Yeah.
what was lovely, it was an afternoon of, for me, self-care. It was lovely to just sit and create. And we were having dialogues, and most of us didn't know each other. I didn't know anybody in the group. And we were just talking about life, as women coming together. And it wasn't a black thing or a white thing or anything thing. It was just about women coming together, talking about what was important to us, what we were interested in. So it was lovely to have that combination. So I
Yeah.
guess the question is, do you also offer the classes online? I mean, we did it online that day, but is that something you're going to move forward with, do you think?
Yeah, I really enjoy that, because obviously, I can't do the live thing at the moment. But the online classes will be more frequent. And
Great.
I did originally just plan to do it once every month, but I think I'm going to actually increase that to try and do it at least twice or 3 times a month,
Yeah.
because I think it's needed. It's definitely needed, because I know one of the people that I had on the course, she has mental health issues, and she benefited from it so much, because she, like, similar to yourself, she had never done anything like that before, wasn't too sure what to expect. And when she actually got into it, she said, "This is fantastic." She said, "This is going to be so good for, my community, and helping people with their mental health, because it just helps them just focus on the actual task at hand. It brings
Mm.
them down to like a relaxed state. And like you said, they've got other people to talk to as well, just about life, and it takes them away from whatever else is going on. So yeah, it's a great way to actually um, stabilize your mental health.
Awesome. It was absolutely awesome. I applaud you for putting it on and continuing. And I hope you're able to continue it, whether we're in lockdown or not, because I think you can reach so many women if you're online as well. Whereas if it's, specifically in Luton or a set location, everyone has to travel there. But you could maybe even
Yeah.
do a combination, right? Maybe, a live class and then together. But it's actually one of the few things that I've done online that I didn't feel any less than. In fact, it was actually nice to be at home, because if I needed to run and make a cup of tea, I could just do it, if
It's very
whatever. It was just
relaxed, wasn't it?
really relaxing. Yeah, I really, really
Yeah.
enjoyed it. And so I think that was amazing. I love that. And so
Thank you.
just, you know, moving forward a little bit, Eva just brought it up, and it was one of my questions in the audience. Eva was asking, where in Africa do you focus on, or focus on the
Nowhere
most?
in particular. Yeah, there's no like particular region. So I'm inspired by, I could be on Instagram and I'm looking at different images on Instagram, and something might capture my eye, and I'm like, oh, I like that. That I can see that in some kind of mosaic form, and it could be somewhere in Zambia, it could be somewhere in South Africa, it could be anywhere. So there's no particular region. Some people have said that some of my mosaics remind them of their tribe or their wherever they're from, but it's a melting pot of different areas, really.
Love that. I love that. That's really beautiful. So you just encompass it, everything, all the beauty that Africa has to offer, and that's yeah, that's
Yeah,
what we need. So
yeah.
can you tell me a little bit about? You said most of your pieces are around femininity, about women. Why is that?
Mm. I think because we are the nurturers and the caregivers, and um, we are the originators of the planet, and all these different things. We are, we give birth to our children, and we're just the originators. So I think that's, for me, is really important, because at the moment well, we know we're going through all kinds of different turmoil and stuff like that, but because our planet is the way it is because it's been too too patriarchal. So I'm trying to address the balance again and bring back the matriarchal. The feminine energy needs to come back into our society just to make it more balanced again. So I'm really, it's all about focusing on the woman.
And I wonder how amazing this world would be if women ruled the world. I mean, it's just such a wonderful thought and feeling. Hopefully it'll happen in our lifetime.
It would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely. Actually, can I just show you a piece here? Because this is like...
Absolutely.
I've not quite finished it yet, but this kind of represents a little bit of what I was just speaking about here. This needs to be grouted. And this is kind of like a mixture of obviously the female form with her crown, her head wrap.
Okay.
And also the dwarf, which is a Ghanaian symbol. And that's also representative of a feminine energy. So I just wanted to kind of like show that. Let's go back a little bit so you can see.
Lovely. That's so interesting. Yeah. And was there anything in particular that inspired you to create that?
Not really. Just like sometimes I just get a sense of like, let's do this. I'm led a lot by whatever's coming in at the moment. And when I create my pieces, the color comes when I'm actually physically getting on and doing it. So I very rarely have like a drawing with this is the color it's going to be, this is the way I'm going to cut the tiles. It just comes as I'm actually creating.
Yeah. And one of our viewers said that they see art as a feminine expression. So that really is speaking to exactly what you're saying. It really is. I love that.
So they see art as just feminine.
As a feminine expression.
Okay, that's interesting. I'd like to know a little bit more about if they could express that a little bit more. That would be great to actually discuss that.
Yeah, go ahead, viewer. Let me know. You're getting more feedback that's an amazing piece. It's lovely. And Leslie said the matriarch is so important at this time. What we are getting there. Yes, we are, slowly but surely. I remember a few years back, I read an article about Iceland after the crash. I think it was in 2008. And Iceland became the first state that was, president, vice president, and I think like whatever was next in line were all women running the country, and they took the country out of turmoil into a really positive financial position economically as well. So when we get in power and we take over, the boys better watch out. I think some of us would like to take a break and let us take over. What do you think, audience? What do you think? Oh, I love that.
Take a break for real. Yes, I love that too.
Yeah. So tell me a bit more about how you found your path doing this in terms of, did you find this really empowering when you really got into your stride and you realized, I'm really loving this. I'm really good at this. In fact, I'm going to do this as my 9 to 5. I'm going to jump out on faith, I'm assuming, and just do it. Or were you in a situation where you just knew, oh, I can do this and I can give up my 9 to 5 job? I mean, how did you empower yourself to take that step?
That it was only the last 3 or 4 years is where I actually did the final leap of like, I'm going to do this full time. Leading up to then, I was always doing something else in the background. After I finished training, or my first course, I got pregnant quite quickly, so I wasn't able to do much after the baby was born, and then I had another one kind of quite quickly after that. So I kind of just put Mosaics on the back burner for probably about 3 or 4 years, just to allow them to grow up, and it's obviously quite dangerous as well with all the sharp bits and stuff.
Okay.
And then when they got to a certain age where they could kind of just, well, when they were at nursery or when they were, you know, be able to play by themselves, I went back and did another course, a refresher course, just to get myself back into the swing of things, and started putting myself out there doing craft events and things like that. And in fact, my very first craft event, I remember in South London, um, I had probably about 5 pieces, so I didn't have much on the table. And I was there all day, and like people were just coming over and just like looking at it, and then they're just walking away, and they're just like, maybe that's, you know, the people are just not really interested in this sort of thing. And it's getting kind of, you know, kind of a bit disheartened. And then right at the end, I was packing away everything, and this one lady, she came out. In fact, I was by the car by this time, taking my stuff. I was by the car, and she said, "Oh, what have you got in there?" And I was like, "Oh, I've got some mosaics." And she said, "Oh, let's have a look what you've got." And I showed her what I had, and she said, "Oh, how much is that piece?" And I gave her the price. "I'll have that." And I'm like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, I'll take that one." And that was all I kind of needed, really. Like, okay, yes, I'm gonna do the next one. So I was kind of like doing more and more, getting more confident. And at this point also, I wasn't calling myself an artist. I was just doing it because I absolutely loved it. No idea of pricing, nothing like that. And it was a real big learning curve. And to get to where I am now, it took a lot of mindset changing, working on my mindset to actually get the confidence to say that, yes, you are good enough, you are an artist, you know that you can actually do this, just go ahead and do it. But it did take a little while for me to get there. But I knew from very early on that I needed to pursue this and make this work for me. I just knew it. But only recently as well, it's, even though I love what I do, and it's, you know, people obviously love what I'm doing as well, I questioned myself as to why I'm actually doing it. Okay, yes, it's an art form that people love, and they adorn their walls and stuff, and you know, they love what I'm doing, but why am I actually doing it? There must be something else apart from me just doing art. So I was questioning myself about it. And the answer came was that because you need to heal other people with it. And like, oh, okay. It's like, tell me more. So I was like, because I, you know, prior to, well, as well as this, I just love working with children, and I also just love helping people. Because I'm quite a little bit of a softie, I guess. And I just like to make sure everyone is okay. And I don't like turmoil, or, you know, I just don't like it. So, and then I started getting into, you know, art therapy and just healing, and just reading little bits about it. I'm thinking I'm going in that kind of direction. And when I was doing the workshops more often, the thing that just kept coming up all the time was, this is so healing, this is so relaxing, this is so therapeutic. I love doing this. This is taking me away from this. I'm going to do this when I get home. And I was like, this is something that, you know, I need to, you know, delve into a bit more with this particular art form, and just kind of just explain to people that when you do this, you're going to feel in this way when you actually do it. It's going to make you feel better. So I'm still kind of, you know, trying to figure out exactly what it is, but it's going along the art therapy route. I think that's where I'm going to be ending up doing something like that.
That's great. And Sabrina just said from the audience, understand the why, believe in yourself, and approach it straight out the gate. Get it, girl.
Oh, yes.
She said, get it, girl. I love that. You know, it's really, really important. And I love the thought of art as therapy. I mean, that's how it felt to me on the day when I did it. And to touch on that as well, I think what was also beautiful about it is that you have that really soothing, calming, loving, warm voice and presence. So you're immediately transported from whatever you were running around being crazy doing into this sort of Zen environment, so that you start feeling like you're being creative, that you start feeling in that healing space. So it's not just about what you live in, Dionne, but I'm not sure if you're aware, but it's also about you, what you bring to the table. You bring yourself, you bring your passion. And when you were even describing the pieces, you were just in your stride. It was just very, I don't know what the right word
fluid.
is. It,
Free flowing and fluid.
It made me of a melody was what I was going to say. It just felt very melodic, just very sort of calming and soothing, but we were on this beautiful wave that we didn't want it to end. It kind of reminded me about maybe being on holiday on one of those plastic things in the pool, and you're just relaxing and you're floating along. That's kind of how it felt. It's really nice.
Is that called a lilo? I think that's called a lilo, is it?
I don't know. I just know I can have a pina colada while I'm on it. That's the part that I remember.
I love it.
And Leslie said to tell you that creativity is so important and so healing, and it really is. It really, and all art forms, but this was a different art form that I don't know that I would have necessarily have thought about or experienced or looked into had I not seen your work, and then you offered to do the class. So I implore those of you that are really interested to put in a note here. We'll post it for you, let you know. But people are saying I'm getting excited about this week's workshop. So I assume you've got a workshop coming up.
Yes, I wonder who that is. Yes, I have a workshop on Saturday.
I think where the person is Lilo.
Yeah, Lilo. I don't know. That's the lilac, the thing that you said that you was going to float on.
Oh, it is. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Can't know everything. Thank you. How do you say it? Lilo or Lilo?
Lilo.
Yeah. Sorry. So back to your workshop. I apologize. Please repeat that.
That's all right. Yeah. So the workshop again is focusing on the chakra, and it's a workshop where you do not have to have any mosaic experience, no cutting experience. All the tools are provided for you. I pre-cut everything here, and I send you the pack, and you create along with me. And so what I do is encourage people to think about what chakra, and if you're not sure about what chakras are, they're the meridians. We have 7 chakra meridians that run through the center of our body from the crown to the root. And they represent different energy spots in your body. So for example, the crown is to do about expansion and awareness. But the third eye, you have the throat chakra, the heart chakra, the solar plexus, and the root chakra. I think I said all 7.
I think you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got them all. Yeah. I want to take all the classes so I can make all 7 of them, because I've got my mind now. I feel like, it's going to be all lonely. The heart chakra it needs the rest of the family with them.
Yeah, and then what you can do then is when you have all your 7 chakras, you can then place them in somewhere that you're going to see them all the time, and you can kind of just focus on either all of them or just one in particular where you feel that you need more support. It might be that your throat chakra is blocked, and you have this you have a challenging time with trying to speak like myself right at this very moment in time. I need to have my throat chakra just clear that energy out. So I can encourage you to do just like a little meditation before we start the actual class, and just focusing on that particular area, and then we dive into the actual class, and then just get into it. So,
it's amazing. Yeah. In fact, I love the chakras.
It's only a couple of hours.
No, that's the other thing. It's about 2.5 hours, but it felt it didn't feel like it was flying. It felt like it was going at a beautiful pace. And then all of a sudden it was over. And I was like, oh, I want more. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to finish
Yeah.
it. It was really good.
Yeah.
But it was a combination of your soothing voice. It was a combination of all the other interesting women that I got to meet. And it was really nice to talk to women that I probably would never have any interaction with, you know, just because we live on the other side of the country or we do completely different things. So it was really lovely. It was really a wonderful, wonderful day. I can't speak highly enough of it, you know.
Oh,
Um,
thank you so
Other
much.
thing yeah, you're welcome. I wanted to go back a bit because I know that you asked, you know, the person in the audience to speak more to what they were saying about feminine expression, that they saw art as a feminine expression. And they were
Mm,
saying that art comes from an intuitive, creative side, right? So
mm,
art is beyond
mm.
logic, it comes from the unknown realm of our being.
Oh, that's deep. I love that.
No. Yeah, this is one of our deep
Michelle,
listeners.
that's another show for you right there. Mm.
I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. I mean, this is why we keep doing this because every week we unearth something that's really good, and you know, we could just really get deep. We don't always have the time, but there's always opportunities to create new sessions. So this is fabulous. You know, this is a great episode, and I'm really loving that we're coming from a totally different perspective. But guess what? We're at 45 minutes. Where did the time go? We're gonna start wrapping up. Yes,
Oh no, the time's
yes.
gone so quick.
But I
Oh
wanted to say
wow.
to you, you know, as I always talk about, my favorite singer is Stevie Wonder, and he says that love is in need of love today. I just love saying that. Let me say it again. Love is in need of love today. Don't delay, get yours in right away. So for you, what do you think the world's in need of? What do you think love needs at this point?
Wow. I think he's absolutely right. Love is definitely one at top of my list. The world needs a lot of love, a lot of healing, a lot of awakening. We need to awaken a lot of people to as to what is really going on this planet. I think a lot of people are unfortunately sleeping and not really paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
But right at the core of this is love and just kindness to one another. So yeah.
Absolutely. I love that. Love and kindness. We can't get enough of it, especially at the time we're going through. And, you know, I have a slight concern that because people think, oh, lockdown's coming to an end and we can run around and everything's going to be free and back to normal. No.
I don't get too happy with that.
Yeah, I hope people are really managing their expectations. And this is part of it, you know, doing something creative that you can do whether you're in lockdown or out of lockdown, it doesn't matter. You can still have that creative expression, that freedom in a way that you wouldn't normally necessarily express yourself. So it's really, really fabulous.
That's
We've got a couple
yeah.
more comments. We have Rocio saying we need more compassion. We definitely need
Yes.
more compassion, without a
Yeah.
doubt. Without a doubt. I'm praying that lockdown has taught most of us that. You know, yeah, we've got to take care of ourselves. We have to self love and we have to have self care. But what about everybody else around us? How do we take that to the next level? Once we're full and we're taken care of, how do we share the love and help each other out? Because a lot of people are going to need a lot of help after being locked
Oh my.
down like animals. It's going to be tough. And there are reasons we know why we had to do it, but that doesn't take away from how it's going to affect a lot of people mentally. But moving
Absolutely. Yeah.
on, my last question of the night. This has been so much fun. It's bringing me
Oh,
to tears.
bye.
But is there anything that you'd love to impart with the audience, you know, to get them through these challenging times that we're speaking of? Is there anything you'd like to share? Any suggestions?
Wow. Yes, some self-care. So don't forget to take time to be to ground yourself, to spend time grounding yourself. So whether that's if you can going out for a walk in nature, preferably,
Mhm.
and breathing in some air, breathing it out, really connecting to nature, even hugging a tree. I like to hug trees, and I'm not ashamed to say I do like to hug trees. Grounding, walking barefoot on the ground as well, on the grass, for a few minutes. And if you're not able to go out and you're not near a park or anything, just try and get yourself into a bath or something, and just relax in the bath with some Epsom salts or some essential oils. Take a few minutes out, half an hour or however long you want. Just take your time out. Or if you're not able to do that, just sit still and just think about your breathing. Just meditate. Close your eyes for a moment and just try not to think of anything particular apart from your breathing, and sit there for as long as you can, and just don't think of anything else but yourself.
Yeah, I love that. It's kind of step away from the world for 10 minutes. Just
Yes.
close it all down, shut it down, step away from the world, and just be within your own world for 5 or 10 minutes. And that's such great advice, especially for those of us who are homeschooling, have 20 people in the house when you're used to no one being there or one person being there. It's a lot. It's a lot. So great advice. And Shaz is in the audience and saying something really wonderful. Thank you, Shaz. She says a lot of patience and understanding is needed as well. And it really is, Shaz. We really need more patience than we've ever had before, and more understanding than we've ever had before, because we've got some interesting times ahead of us, some challenging times to get through. But on that note, I want to say thank you for sharing your passion, your craft, and bringing us a little bit into your world. You know, just a beautiful, beautiful way of just looking at the world from with different lenses. You know, looking at how we can have so much joy in a really, really different way, but fundamentally important way. So, Dionne, thank you so much for your time. And maybe we'll have to have you back so we can continue that conversation.
That would be amazing. Thank you so much for inviting me on the show. It's been absolutely fantastic. I've really enjoyed our conversation today. And your audience is just phenomenal. Love the audience.
Thank you so much. And this will be rerun. So if anybody who's watching this on the replay later, please put comments in the group, you know, or wherever you're viewing it from, and we will forward them on to Dionne, or, you know, we'll respond. So thank you. Thank you so much, Dionne. It was a pleasure. Really was. Really has been.
Look forward to giving you a hug in the summer.
No, a real hug, not one of these. One of these.
Yeah.
I want a tree hug, by the way. Thank you so much. Thank you. And so everyone, thank you for joining in. I really appreciate all the great comments and, you know, everything that we talked about tonight, you know, the value of taking that time out for some self-love and some self-care. It's just too important. I'm still getting great comments that we were both brilliant and that it's been a pleasure, but the pleasure is always mine. I love that I can bring people like Dionne that are inspiring to you. And if you've got any ideas, anything else that you'd like to learn more about, put it in the chat. Let me know. You know, we'll get somebody on. We'll have that discussion. But until next week, all I can say is thank you so much, and be joyful, be connected, and shine your light. Good night.